This is our smallest formicarium so far. We wanted something to keep just queens in, and that's it. You can use them inside of a foraging area, but as a standalone, you only want to raise a queen in here until she has workers, and then you need something else to move them into. So we'll go through the basic setup of the formicarium. This is the first style, style A. So what comes with this is exactly what you see: a lid with a three magnets, and then the stopper. Each stopper is cut and sized to fit that particular one. They're all a little bit different, but you just twist them in to make sure that they're secure inside. So the idea is to take the lid off and put the queen inside directly like that. You can try to put her in a container with this also and open it up and hope that she goes in there. That would work, I think, in many cases, but quickly I like to usually get my queens in quicker. So for me, I typically take the lid off, put the stopper in, add a little bit of water first into the Atom, and then put the queen in there. That usually works very well. For the style B setup, there's a little bit different setup for style B. This is for larger ants, and also has a long-term system for hydration. We'll go through the hydration for the Atom A in just a minute. This is how style B comes. It comes with a lid, and the lid is very, very tightly fitting. It fits perfectly on top. Once you push it down, I recommend not pushing it down too tightly. Getting replacement lids for these is very, very simple. They are simply our round feeding dish on the website. So, moving beyond that, to get set up with these, you also comes included with two. These are called nest mates. Basically, these are both designed to hold water. They have stoppers on one end that come out and fit perfectly down inside. So this is how the nest mates work. First, you want to get some water in a syringe. You need to fill these up with either a syringe or I can't really think of anything else that would work too well. I find that filling these with the stopper in them and filling them like this is the best way to go. And you just fill it until it's just to the top, and then these are inserted into both openings. You can do this if you like, and then put a stopper here. You can add the second one in, and that is how your Atom is supposed to be set up for your queens. Keeping them full is fairly simple. One thing you can do while your queen is in the nest, if you want to give her a little bit of water on the surface to drink from, actually they can drink from the nest mates inside, but so if you want to give her a little bit more extra moisture, you can just squeeze it. Now that will of course deplete your water quicker, but yeah, it's an option. So that's the setup for both of them. That's how they look while they're in use. To give you an idea of what a Camponotus queen looks like from a distance in one, there's a Camponotus castaneus queen, and you can see there's plenty of room in there for several workers. But the idea is when you get several workers to move them into something like this. And this actually has a Brachymyrmex colony. These are the tiniest ants that I've ever kept. This is why the Atom came about, is because I really wanted something that you could get a good start with a colony and then move them into the inception chambers. That is the intended progression. This little colony is going to do their first feeding here. They've never been outside the nest. I've always kept it plugged up. And if you're an ant keeper with a little bit of skill at making your own stuff, this is very easy to do. You can use plaster. Some people use grout. You can use all sorts of different materials. This is just what we use for all of our formicaria here. We're going to open that up, feed them, put a little feeding dish. The feeding dish fits right down inside next to them. These are the outworlds that come as an option with the Atom on the website. Style B comes with a little bit larger outworld. What I feed them, this is what they're going to be fed their first meal. This is a mealworm. Now I cut the head off of this one because they're so tiny. There's a little bit of meat left on the head, and that's all they're going to need. So just inside that little end piece there is just a little bit of meat, and they don't need much. We'll give them some honey. So this is nice beech forest honeydew. It's just honey, but it's good honey that I trust. I've been using it for a long time. So this is what I do for all my really tiny ants, is I just get just enough to where you can see that there's some on there, and then you drag it across the surface. This hopefully will keep them from getting stuck in it. And then we're just gonna sit that right down inside there. Formicarium. Pull that out, and we'll check on them in a few minutes. And it's really cool to see ants forage out for the first time and have that option. Oh, there we go. So it may take them a while. Usually they travel back and forth. They need to get some chemical trails built up before they have the inclination, especially these tiny species. The queen will probably stay inside the nest where airflow is greatly decreased from other places inside the room, and where she has the safety of her workers and the eggs, and they have their chemical trails and scents built up for the colony. These lids on this outworld are very good, very tight fitting. So they're going to enjoy their first meal, and I just wanted to show you how this was set up. This setup is intended to be after the workers arrive, and you can place your Atom Style A, which is what you see here, in this foraging area, or any other one that you want to make or buy for yourself. Always use a feeding dish when you're feeding your colonies, especially at this stage. And you do not have to put this down inside this foraging area with any kind of plaster. The way it actually comes would be with just the basic sand, a flat sand surface, and you would put your Atom inside just like that feeding dish is, and it would sit on top. And that would be perfectly fine. You just have to be more careful with it. This is just to give you an idea of what a young Camponotus colony would look like taking up space inside of an Atom Style B. Now this is the only of the two, Style A and B, that can house a large species. Style A is just not large enough for it. I would stop with something 10 millimeters and maybe not even get that bold with the style A. Mostly the Solenopsis species, Tetromorium species, Phytolus species are really good size for there. I've got Chromatogaster species, Brachymyrmex species, Nylandaria species, all in style A. And mainly for this style B size, you're going to want to keep Formica and Camponotus species. Odonomachus would be another good size for these. One last thing before I go here, this is really just an introductory video to the Atom, and I'll be showing updates on some of my colonies in separate videos down the road. But there are glass tops available for these, and basically it would replace this lid here on the Atom Style A. It would still come with magnets secured to the top.